Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Firehouse's Mentor Monday. Hey, so this week we're going to talk a little bit about taking a new position, right? And how should you approach that? Especially when you're moving from, let's say, operations to headquarters, or maybe you're going from headquarters to another director position within your city, or maybe you're moving up to city management, or maybe your city has formulated a new position where you're at a higher level. But how do you approach that? And I don't have a ton of experience in this, but the one thing that I do know that I always wished for when I was on the streets, and one thing that I certainly tried to do when I came to headquarters, was make sure that you ask enough questions, right? And I think that a lot of times when you're on the streets or when you're taking a new role, you have a lot of perceptions or assumptions that you bring with you to that office. And they're not all negative, and it's not meant to be negative, but you take those assumptions or those perceptions and you try to start enacting change sometimes, right? And last week we talked about change. And so to continue on with that a little bit, is you try to enact change that you think is needed or that you think is good. Or maybe it's change that was already on the docket, right? And now you're in charge of pushing that forward. But my advice to you in those moments is to make sure that you ask enough questions of the people who are there, the people who have put in the work, the people who have done the work, who have been a part of the process. And so that way you get a bigger picture and a better illustrated picture of what is truly going on and what change needs to happen, if any at all, or what processes need to be tweaked, if any at all. Because the one thing that you do see is there is a strong loss of historical knowledge and a lot of processes within our job. And what we'll do is we'll come and say, well, this has never happened. Well, maybe it has happened, and we haven't had the opportunity to discuss that at a higher level and figure out what needs to happen moving forward, what needs to change moving forward. So the only advice that I can give you on that is come in, ask enough questions, get your historical knowledge of what is in place and why it is in place. And if there's anything that needs to change, or if there's anything that needs to be tweaked, or maybe there's something brand new that needs to be developed. Don't come into the new role having assumptions or perceptions of things that are taking place until you verify them, right? And so you don't want to come in with assumptions and act on that. You don't want to come in on perceptions and act on that. You want to verify what you assume and what you perceive, and then from there make the best decision for your organization. And so that's what I got for you this week. When you're coming into those new roles, make sure that you ask enough questions, make sure that you obtain the historical knowledge of everything, and make sure that you hold respect to that history, right? That you're not coming in and saying, for the first time ever in our department, or for the first time ever in our history, when maybe it has happened before and you just didn't have the knowledge. Because then at that point, you really could be slapping the face of all those who have worked hard before you were there. So come in, ask questions, get your historical knowledge, and move forward and build a great department, a great division, a great team. So until next week, as always, love the job, train hard, and stay smart. See you next week. Go Tigers.